Hey Amy, it's Heather. I thought I'd take a minute to respond to your discussion board. I enjoyed reading it. I really like how you just start out with saying, every crisis, every disaster is unique, right? Because for each person, it's going to depend on their developmental stage, life experience, mental or verbal ability, and emotional state at the time of the exposure to the trauma. The four ways that I like to put it to people is you have to meet mental, physical, emotional, spiritual needs. You have to really meet them where they are. And I like that you point out developmental stage because I really enjoyed reading the chapters because in the textbook, in the one that Wright wrote, about just ways to crisis counseling, I really like how he broke up, basically the young child, right? So before the age of, I think it was like before the age of 12 or whatnot, like where you've got those quote unquote magic years, what he called it, of really where they're at developmentally, right? They're not going to understand, that it's not their fault. They're going to think it's their fault. Or in that middle child, in those middle ages, I think that was like 7 to 12, he talked about, okay, like they might want to, really just not want to talk through it compared to adolescents are really going to be able to reason through things a little bit more. I really like, excuse me, I really like how they really just broke it up. Because you can't just say children, adolescents, adults, breaking down, defining the ages of a child, defining the ages of an adolescent, and the interventions used with them, absolutely, cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-focused CBT, and really just, as they said in the book, their safety is number one. And I like how you bring up safety, shelter, food, accurate age appropriate information, which is really important, and social support. They were talking about really support is one of the main things that's going to show how they're going to deal with everything. Every video we've watched, every chapter of the textbook continues just to talk about social support, which is so important. And I think as we approach doing more help in psychological first aid in trauma, that's the first thing really, to look at. I love how you talk about when you get to adults, you're looking more at the psychological first aid, really measuring, okay, what kind of interventions do they need? And I kind of put in my discussion board, like you're going to kind of meet them where they are and assess, what level of care, what interventions they need, psychological first aid, or, continuing counseling. I think it's really important to mention, like you did, like just cultural competence and the top kind of things that they talked about, that therapeutic relationship with a kid, the flexibility and commonalities, trainers who are child therapists, and need for ongoing consultation to become more familiar with the treatment practices. I think those are 4 pretty simple ways to put, like, here's how you need to be culturally competent as you approach, because it was talking about even when everybody went into New York after 9/11, they had to understand, okay, the culture of New York, the different cultures that live, within that city, and really just meeting them where they are. I love that they were able to make those standards based on the learning experiences they had in one of the most significant events in history. I think you did a great job at explaining everything, and I just wanted to tell you that. I hope you have a good week. Thanks.